Quick question before we start. Did you know that a genuinely massive federal housing package has just rolled out across Canada, and it could put thousands of dollars back into the pockets of older Canadians? I'm not talking about some obscure regulatory tweak that only affects a handful of people in one province somewhere. This package has cleared Parliament with broad support. The government launched Build Canada Homes in September 2025. The Federal Housing Accelerator Fund is pouring over $4.4 billion into municipalities that are willing to fix their zoning rules. Press me to find another federal housing initiative from the last few years that received that kind of cross-party backing. You won't. This was a big deal. And yet, the news cycle gave it maybe 2 days of coverage, buried it under a mountain of federal jargon, and moved on to the next headline. Which means the people who actually need this information, senior homeowners, renters on fixed incomes, folks trying to downsize, families hoping their kids might someday afford a bungalow somewhere, never really got the memo. I am no expert, but on this channel, every week, I cover the real financial information that affects seniors directly. The rules that changed, the protections you already qualify for, and the steps that actually make a difference. This is exactly the kind of content I put out every single week, and you do not want to miss it. If that's the kind of information you want to hear, then make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Now, let's get into it. So, that's what today is for. I went through the actual federal announcements, pulled out what CMHC has been updating, and walked through the most recent provincial tenant protections, and I'm walking you through it in plain Canadian English. 5 real wins, what each one means for your life, exactly what to do about it, and yes, a few places where this federal action still falls short. Stick around because by the end, you'll know precisely what you qualify for and what to do this week. Let's get into it. The reason Ottawa went after housing in the first place is that the country is short roughly 3.5 to 4 million homes, depending on whose estimate you use. And that gap has been a major driver behind rising home prices and climbing rents for years. A lot of seniors end up trapped either way. Stuck in a house that's become too big and too expensive to keep up, or stuck in a rental with a corporate landlord who feels impossible to reach. This new federal action, anchored by Build Canada Homes, the expanded Housing Accelerator Fund, and CMHC's ongoing program updates, attacks that problem from several angles at once. More supply, stronger renter supports, more help for aging in place, and more realistic paths for downsizing. It isn't flawless. I'll show you exactly where, but it's the broadest federal housing push Parliament has backed in decades, and older Canadians have a real stake in it. Win 1, real help fixing up the home you already live in. Picture this. You are 76. You've lived in the same house for 3 decades, but the bathroom's gotten dangerous. No grab bars, a slick tub, poor lighting. The front steps have no railing. The roof's had a slow leak you've been catching with a bucket for 2 years. And somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000 in repairs stands between you and staying there safely. On a fixed income, that number might as well be $1 million. The CMHC's Home Adaptations for Seniors Independence program, called HASI, was built for exactly this. It offers forgivable loan funding, meaning if you meet the conditions, you do not pay the money back, for low-income senior homeowners aged 55 and over to make accessibility adaptations. Up to $20,000 in most cases, with up to a 25% top-up for specific accessibility needs. Grab bars, wider doorways for a wheelchair or walker, non-slip surfaces, ramps, better lighting, and removing obvious fall hazards. These are not cosmetic upgrades. They're the difference between aging in your own home with dignity and being pushed into a facility before you are ready. Let me be honest with you. The funding is real, but it is delivered through your province and administered locally, so availability and waitlists vary a lot by region. Rural and on-reserve Indigenous variants exist in several provinces too. Here's what to do now. Call CMHC at 1-800-668-2642. That's their national line. Or visit cmhcschl.gc.ca and search Hussey to find your provincial contact. If you are in Ontario, you can also reach out through your local Home and Community Care Support Services office for an initial walkthrough. That first call is free, and it tells you exactly whether you qualify and what's available in your riding. Win 2, more places to actually downsize into. This one hits home for a lot of people. You've got a 4-bedroom house the kids left 15 years ago, and you are done mowing a lawn you don't need. You want something smaller and cheaper to heat, ideally with a little equity left over from the sale. Problem is, when you go looking, there's often nothing smaller in your price range, in your area, near your doctors and your friends. So, you stay put in a house that no longer fits your life because there's nowhere sensible to land. The Federal Housing Accelerator Fund, that $4.4 billion commitment, leans hard on fixing this by giving municipalities funding to reform zoning. Accessory dwelling units or ADUs, small separate units on an existing lot, sometimes called in-law suites, granny flats or garden suites. Duplexes, townhomes, manufactured and modular homes, and converting vacant commercial buildings into housing. An ADU can work both directions. Build one and move into the smaller unit while renting out the main house, or stay in the main house and rent the ADU for extra income. Manufactured and modular homes get real attention too, since they carry an outdated stigma but are often dramatically cheaper to build and increasingly easier to finance under updated lending rules. A number of municipalities are now offering ADU grants on top of the federal push. Hamilton, for example, has topped up the federal value to a maximum of $40,000 for an interior ADU per unit, and St. Catharines has gone as high as $80,000 per unit for qualifying projects. Several other Ontario municipalities are running similar incentive programs funded through the Housing Accelerator Fund. ADUs are an urban infrastructure solution that can fit a senior's life directly. Zoning reform and new construction, though, take years to show up as available inventory. But if you are thinking about downsizing in the next 1 to 5 years, start talking to a CMHC housing counselor now, free of charge, so you understand what's coming and what it means for your finances. Win 3, real teeth for renters dealing with corporate landlords. If you rent and your building got scooped up by a large investment firm, you know the drill. Maintenance requests vanish into a call center. New fees appear that weren't in your lease, and there's no actual person to hold accountable, just a portfolio of thousands of units behind a corporate name. Canada's situation here is provincial, not federal, and the patchwork matters. In Ontario, rent increases for 2026 are capped at 2.1%, tied to the provincial inflation guideline. Nova Scotia has frozen rent-controlled increases until 31 December 2027. And from January 2026 onward, annual increases will be capped at 5%. The Federal Canada Housing Benefit, delivered through your province, supports low-income renters paying more than 30% of their income on rent, and the amounts vary by province. Federal Build Canada Homes, the new agency, is funding affordable rental supply at scale, which over time eases pressure on the private market. I want to set realistic expectations here. The strongest protections apply directly to federally assisted housing, public housing and CMHC subsidized buildings. Canada's Renters Guide and your provincial tenant board remain your primary day-to-day tools. If you are in Ontario, that's the Landlord and Tenant Board. In BC, it's the Residential Tenancy Branch. In Nova Scotia, it's the Residential Tenancies Program. These are the bodies that actually enforce your rights when something goes wrong. These rules and their enforcement vary a lot from one province to the next. If you are dealing with a rough situation in a private rental right now, your best moves are learning your province's specific tenant rights, keeping a paper trail of every phone call and email, and reaching out to a local legal aid office or tenant rights organization, such as Acorn Canada, which offers help completely free of charge across the country. Win 4, putting limits on Wall Street's home buying spree in Canada. You've watched this happen over the past several years. Big investment firms buying up single-family homes by the thousands, renting them out and quietly pulling inventory away from regular buyers. Fewer homes on the market, more competition, and first-time buyers getting outbid by a corporation with deep pockets instead of another family. The Canadian federal government already took a meaningful step here back in 2022 with the Prohibition on the Purchase of Residential Property by Non-Canadians Act, restricting direct foreign ownership of residential property. Provinces including Ontario and BC have since introduced their own tax measures, and discussions continue around institutional landlord restrictions. CMHC now publishes detailed data on investor activity in the rental market, and that data is informing further policy conversations in Parliament. I want to be honest about the limits here. There's no single hard cap of 350 homes per institutional buyer in Canadian federal law the way there is in the recent American legislation. What exists is a direction of travel. Federal and provincial governments are tightening the rules, collecting better data, and listening more closely to housing advocates. Expect this conversation to keep developing, but don't expect a price drop the day a new measure lands. This slows the problem. It doesn't reverse it. What you can do today? Contact your MP and ask them to support expanding restrictions on large-scale institutional buyers. Reach out to your provincial housing ministry to find out what tenant protections apply in your area. Connect with local housing advocacy groups such as Acorn Canada, the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, or Generation Squeeze, all of which run active campaigns on this issue. Your voice carries more weight than you might think. Win 5, this is where the numbers actually start working in your favor. Here's a problem that rarely gets discussed. Say you want to buy a $400,000 home in a more affordable part of the country, a perfectly realistic price in many maritime towns, prairie cities, or northern Ontario communities. You can afford it. You've got savings for a down payment, but lenders often hesitate on mortgages below a certain size because the fees and interest simply do not justify their time. So, you get priced out of housing you could genuinely afford purely because the financing system wasn't built for it. Federal action through CMHC is gradually addressing this. CMHC-insured mortgages remain accessible for smaller properties, and provincial first-time buyer supports like Ontario's land transfer tax refund for first-time buyers up to $4,000, BC's first-time home buyers program offering partial property tax exemption, and similar programs across Alberta, Manitoba, and the Maritimes help cover land transfer costs and closing expenses. The federal direction is clear. Lending access for smaller mortgages is improving. These provincial programs vary meaningfully in amount and eligibility, so check your province's specifics. And the piece that ties everything together. These federal actions significantly expand funding for CMHC-approved housing counseling, with an explicit focus on serving older adults. This is the add-on that can nearly double how useful every other benefit in this package becomes for you. Because a counselor can tell you specifically whether you qualify for HUSI, whether downsizing makes financial sense right now, what your rights are as a renter in your province, and whether a small dollar mortgage fits your situation. All for free or close to it. Is it perfect? No. Federal-level hard caps on institutional landlords are still being developed, provincial tenant protections are uneven, and most of the supply-side benefits will take years to fully show up. Parliament will likely have to come back and tighten some of this. I'll keep you posted as that happens. But here's what's certain. The people who benefit are the ones who know this exists and actually act on it. So call 1-800-668-2642 for CMHC and ask about HUSI or housing counseling in your area. Contact your provincial housing ministry to confirm what specific programs are open in your province right now. Reach out to your MP to express support for stronger institutional landlord restrictions. And if you are a senior who engages with Acorn Canada or the Council of Canadians, your voice carries real weight in shaping what comes next. Today, the important takeaway is this: because these federal actions are real and active right now through CMHC, Build Canada Homes, and the Housing Accelerator Fund, every one of these wins is genuine. But you have to actually pick up the phone to confirm what's available in your riding. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hit subscribe right now, because every single week I bring you real financial information that directly affects seniors across Canada, exactly the kind of updates you do not want to miss.